Fire in the hole, let's cook a pork belly. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome once again to my backyard. What I got for you today is, I've got a pork belly that I sliced up into 4 chunks. You can see that that's pork belly right there. That's what they make bacon out of. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful pork belly. Got it cut up into 4 strips like that. And I'm going to get them in a Ziploc bag, and then we're going to make this marinade, this Char Siu marinade for the pork belly. So stay tuned. Here, let's get the marinade for the pork belly. This is Char Siu marinade. We're going to start this out with about a half a cup of brown sugar. Brown sugar. Then we've got a whole bunch of garlic that I cut up, about 4 cloves of garlic. Get that in there. We're going to put some pepper, some black pepper, about a teaspoon of black pepper, maybe a tablespoon of black pepper in there. We're going to throw in some cayenne pepper, about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in there. It's pretty good stuff. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we got some 5-spice powder. Very important that you put some 5-spice powder in your Char Siu marinade. That's the whole, you know, Chinese flavor of this thing. Put about a tablespoon of that in there. 5-spice powder, good stuff. That gives it that characteristic Chinese flavor. Okay, then we got to go in with some ketchup is the first thing. Well, I guess the first thing could be soy sauce. So we need 1/3 cup of soy sauce. I could probably put a whole cup of soy sauce in there with no problem. So let's put a cup of soy sauce in there. Again, I should have took the the restrictor out of there to make it pour a little bit faster. But you see what I'm doing. You'll just have to bear with me. Let's get this cup measure almost full. So it's 1/3 cup of soy sauce. I'll put the whole recipe in the bucket, you know, down below the video. Yeah, come on. Oh boy. I knew I should have took that little plastic restrictor out. All right, soy sauce. There we go with the soy sauce. All right, what's next? Soy sauce. Now ketchup. You need 1/3 cup of ketchup. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I don't feel like measuring it. We got some ketchup. Just gonna put 1/3 cup of ketchup. That much ketchup. Okay. Then we've got some hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce is like the Chinese barbecue sauce. And we need also 1/3 cup of that. So like I said, I'm just eyeballing it, but I'll put the exact measurements in the description of the video. So there we got our hoisin sauce. That's good stuff. Then we need a little bit of toasted sesame oil. Just about a tablespoon of that. Not too much. Toasted sesame oil gives it a nice flavor. Then we need 1/3 cup of honey. Now that's the hard part, getting the honey out of the jar. To get 1/3 cup of honey right there. Okay, clover honey, good stuff. Let's get that in there. And last but not least, well not last, but almost last, we got some Japanese plum wine. Now you can use sake, or you can use dry sherry, or Chinese rice wine, but I'm using plum wine. Calls for 1/2 cup. So I'll put 1/2 cup of plum wine. That stuff is really tasty. And that'll help reinforce the flavors of this thing. We're going to mix this all together, whisk it all together in my bowl. We got one more thing to put in here. And it's something that you may or may not be able to get a hold of. If you can't get a hold of this stuff here, let me get this mixed up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful marinade. It smells great already. Can't wait to pour it on the pork belly. Yeah, so what you need is a little bit of this. This is red fermented bean curd. You get this at the Chinese grocery. And this is what gives this whole thing its red flavor, you know. If you can't get a hold of this red bean curd, I'm going to put about 4 teaspoons of red bean curd, and especially the juice that it's in. Gives it that red color, you know. How when you go to a Chinese takeout, it's got that reddish color to it. That's what that's all about. But if you can't find that and you absolutely have no other choice, you can use red food coloring. But I frown on the red food coloring because it's just not authentic, you know what I'm saying? And I see a lot of people doing it, but it's cool. If you can't get fermented bean curd, red bean curd, then you can use red food coloring. But I recommend going to a Chinese grocery and trying to find that fermented red bean curd. So there's my marinade. Let me get my pork belly back over here and pour this over it. Stay tuned. I got my strips of pork belly back here. They're in a Ziploc container. You know, one of these. I'm going to pour this marinade on there. Oh yeah, ain't that beautiful? That's an awesome marinade right there. We're going to get this all over that pork belly. And we're going to work that all in that pork belly. And that's going to stay overnight in the refrigerator. And that way that pork belly will get that beautiful red color of the Chinese takeout ribs, or, you know, pork, whatever you have. And yeah, tomorrow we'll stick that in the pit barrel and grill it up. We're going to make a glazing sauce for that. So stay tuned. My pork bellies have been in the marinade all night. So what I'm going to do now is get them out of there and hook them up and get them in the pit barrel without getting too much of a mess. Hook up this pork belly. Let me show you what that looks like. Don't that look good already? Looks good enough to eat. It's not done, not by a long shot. We got to cook them in a pit barrel for about 4 hours. We're going to cook them for 2 hours, and then we're going to get them out of there and glaze them. I could take that marinade and boil it to make a glaze, but I think what I'm going to do is make up a fresh glaze to put on them. So let me get them in the pit barrel and I'll show you what that looks like. Stay tuned. The pork bellies are in the pit barrel. It's starting to generate some smoke. Just charcoal, no wood. And we're going to smoke them for about, like I said, 4 hours, but we're going to pull them out of there after about an hour or two and glaze them with this glaze I'm going to make. So stay tuned. I'll show you how to make the glaze. You know, I could have took the leftover marinade and made a glaze for those pork bellies, but I changed my mind, decided to make it fresh. I'm going to take about 1/3 of a cup of honey and put that in there. That'll make a good sticky sweet glaze component. Get that in there. Put a little bit of soy sauce in there, just because, not much. A couple of tablespoons of soy sauce. That's all you really need. And then we're going to put some hoisin sauce. Hoisin is the Chinese barbecue sauce, Oriental barbecue sauce. I keep saying Chinese, but I don't mean to say that. It's about 1/3 of a cup of hoisin sauce. Then the other thing we need is the red fermented bean curd. And that'll give it that beautiful color, and also the flavor, and mostly the color. That red fermented bean curd, the juice from that bean curd is what makes that color come on there. You want about 4 teaspoons of that at the very least. I'm going to mix that all up. And that honey is sweet, and that hoisin sauce is sweet, and that fermented bean curd is going to give it that beautiful red color that we love from our days at the Chinese restaurant. You remember when you were a kid and your parents would take you to the Chinese restaurant and they would give you some of those spare ribs, and those spare ribs had that red glaze on them? That's what this is. So let me get that mixed up, and let me get one of them pork bellies out here and we'll glaze it up. So stay tuned. My pork belly is looking awesome, but we're going to go even further and glaze it with this glazing sauce that I made. Oh man, look at that. That's sticky and sweet. Oh good, the garbage guys are here. Lucky for me, huh? So let me get that turned over. Get some on the other side, if I can. Look at that pork belly, isn't that beautiful? Can you see that? Oh man. Yeah, we're going to glaze that puppy up like that. As soon as the garbage guys leave, we'll get them back in the pit barrel, do the other 3, and we'll smoke them for another couple of hours. Then it'll be time to get them out here and drink a beer, so stay tuned. My pork bellies are done. They are super sticky and delicious looking. But let's drink a beer first. Wait till you see this beer. This is from Goose Island, Old Man Grumpy. That's me, Old Man Grumpy. That's me. I saw the title of that beer. I said, I gotta have that beer. I don't care what it is. And when I read a little bit more about it, I liked it even better because it's pale ale, dry hopped, with Huell melon and mosaic hops. Doesn't that sound good? Let's pour that out. I can't wait to get this in my mouth. And I can't wait to get some of that pork belly in my mouth too. So this is a pale ale from Goose Island, Chicago. And there you go. There's your pale ale. Goose Island, Old Man Grumpy. Don't that look good? Let's take a sniff of that, Lassa. What do you think? Wow. It smells great. It's got a great citrusy smell, and I'll bet it's going to taste of hops and barley. What do you think? Let's quaff the froth off it, Lassa. What do you think? Wow, that's great. That's really good. Old Man Grumpy. That's me. That's my beer. Old Man Grumpy. Yeah, let's get some of that pork belly over here and get a taste of that. I can't wait for this to happen. Oh man, look at that pork belly. Don't that look good? I gotta get a taste of that. That is so sticky and sweet. Look at how sticky and sweet that is. I gotta cut a piece of that. It's so tender. The fork just glides through it. Oh boy, look at that. You know what? If there's anything better in the world than pork belly, I sure don't know what it is. That is even better than bacon if you ask me. Look at that pork belly. I can't wait to put that sticky deliciousness in my mouth. Stay tuned. Oh my goodness. That is beyond delicious. Aaron, if you had a taste of this, buddy, you'd be climbing over that fence to get to it. Let me tell you what. It's so tender. You know, it's got a lot of fat on it, but you know what? That's part of the charm of it. And that glaze, that sticky Cantonese glaze is awesome. Oh boy. This might be one of the best things I've ever cooked, right there. Anyway, that's my video, babies. This is a winner. This recipe is a winner. This pork belly is outstanding. Look at the shiny glaze on that stuff. Oh good, the UPS guy's here. Anyway, that's my video. You know what I always say. If you like this crap, please subscribe. If you don't, go up here in the iCard and check out oh, I forgot her channel name, but her name is Erica. And I forget, she's got a grilling channel. She's excellent. This girl is really doing it. You got to check out Erica. I'm sorry, Erica, I forgot your channel name, but you've got some great recipes on there. I'm going to copycat one of her recipes here soon. And so go check out Erica, the grilling girl. Subscribe to the Root Boy Cooks. Come back next week. We may not cook anything good, but I'll tell you what. This is the best thing I've ever cooked. This pork belly. And we will drink a beer. And this Goose Island Old Man Grumpy, this is great beer. I'm loving it. I can't get enough of that pork belly. It melts in your mouth. Let me tell you what. Okay, babies, we'll see you next week. Bye.